Hi, everybody. Yesterday was President's Day. We had a long 4-day weekend, so I wanted to talk to you about President's Day. Now, a president is the person that is the head of our country. He doesn't have to do that job all by himself because there are lots of people in this country that are elected to be leaders, but the president is the very top person. And he helps to make laws. He is in charge of the military, and he has to sign lots of papers and talk to other leaders of other countries. He has a very big job. Do you know where the president lives? The president lives in the White House, and the White House is in Washington, D.C. And the reason why we celebrate President's Day in February is because two very important presidents, Abraham Lincoln and George Washington, their birthdays were in February. So we celebrate President's Day in February because of those two presidents. Now, George Washington was the first president of our country, and Abraham Lincoln was later. He was the 16th president, and he was very important too. Do you know who the president is right now? We just had an election, and the president changed. Do you know who the president is now? His name is Joe Biden. He's the president, and the vice president is her name is Kamala Harris. So Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is the president and the vice president. Okay, I'm going to read a story to you about, it's called If I Were President. Great to be president of the United States. If I were president, that means after a big campaign with speeches and posters and TV ads, the people would have chosen me as their leader. Years of planning and hard work would have prepared me for that day. If I were president, I'd promise to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, because that would be my job. Then I'd move into a mansion called the White House. There's the White House, with more than 100 rooms, and I'd have to remember my new address, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. If I were president, I could go bowling or visit a movie theater without ever leaving my house, because inside the White House is a bowling alley and a movie theater. If I'd have my own chef and could eat whatever I wanted, I could even have 2 desserts every night. If I were president, I'd start work early each morning in the Oval Office. Although I try to do what's best for my country, not everyone would agree with my decisions. So there's an office in the White House called the Oval Office, and that's where the president works. And what shape do you think the office is? Do you think it's a rectangular office? No, it's shaped like an oval. But I'd get help making decisions from a group of people called my cabinet. So the president doesn't do it all alone. He has lots of people to help him make decisions. President, the people would be my boss, and I'd have to find out what they wanted. It wouldn't be easy. Different people want different things. If I were president, I'd be in charge of the armed forces, the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. If I were president, each year I'd give a speech to Congress called the State of the Union. All over the country, people would be watching and listening. I'd talk about how our country was doing, and suggest ways to solve our problems. Imagine creating laws for a whole country. That's something Congress and I would work on together. Congress would present bills, which are ideas for new laws. If I didn't like an idea, I'd say no. That's called a veto. If I agreed, I'd sign the bill and make it a law. If I were president, agents of the Secret Service would guard me. Everywhere I'd go, they'd go too. If I were president, I'd travel in my limousine or in my very own private airplane, Air Force One. I'd meet with the leaders of other nations. Maybe together we would work to improve our world. If I were president, I'd comfort families that had been in an earthquake, a hurricane, or a flood. Then I'd help them rebuild their towns. If I were president, one of my favorite jobs would be passing out medals to people who had done brave deeds. If I were president, in the spring, I'd toss the first pitch of the baseball season. And in the winter, I'd light the nation's holiday tree. If I were president, my words and picture would appear in newspapers and magazines all over the world. Even my dog would make the headlines. If I were president, the house I grew up in would be famous. People would ask my mom for a tour of everything, even my treehouse. If I were president, the people could only elect me twice. That's 2 times. That's 8 years altogether. Then I'd have to find a new job and a new house, because a president can only be president for 8 years total. After that, somebody else has to be elected. Soon, a new president with different ideas would move into the White House. But just like me, the new president would work hard for the good of the country. If I were president, I'd make a statue of me, like the white marble statue of Abraham Lincoln in the Lincoln Memorial, or the president's heads carved into Mount Rushmore. Or someday, my face might show up on the country's money. Did you know President Lincoln is on the penny? And President Jefferson is on the nickel? And President Washington is on the $1 bill? And who knows, someday I just might be President of the United States. So guys, that is the story that I was going to read to you at small group today. And in the next video, I'll show you how to do the activity that we had planned. All right, I hope you have a good day. Stay warm, and maybe you'll see some snowflakes. I saw some snowflakes as I was driving here. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will see some of you at individuals. I'll see my Tuesday people at individuals at the normal time. All right, everybody. Bye.